You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week. In this week's episode, we discuss the new final rule released by Joe Biden and his ATF. How does this new definition of engaged in the business of selling firearms affect you? We also talk about Robinson Armament Company and their XCR series of rifles. While we talk about all this, we try the whiskey of the week. Welcome to episode 111 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. We're going to go through the whiskey of the week, but if you hear just for that final rule by the ATF, I'll have chapter markers down here in the video. You can skip ahead to that. But if you do want to hear what we're drinking this week, Chris is going to tell us.
We are drinking Old Granddad High Mash Bill Bottle and Bond. So we didn't know much about it. Nope. We found out that it used to be a Hazel and Baden who helped craft this whiskey back in the day, and then they got bought by Beam. So Jim Beam is the distiller of this wonderful bottle of whiskey now.
Created by, his name was Raymond B. Hayden.
Yeah.
Named after his grandfather, Meredith Basil Hayden. So that's where the Basil and Hayden whiskey comes from. I didn't know they made this. That's kind of cool.
I didn't either. That's pretty awesome. And now Jim Beam is the distiller.
No, I haven't had this by itself. I have had this mixed in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
And it was good because this stuff is relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, I think I paid $20 for this.
Yeah.
It was cheap, and I was like, oh, I'll try it for that, for Bottle and Bond.
Right? Yeah, I was sitting on the bottom shelf of when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if it's mixing, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. I have, I think you do too, the Old Granddad 114.
Yep.
So we'll have to try that here before too long too.
Yeah.
But what kind of scares me about this one is I'm not a huge fan of cinnamon.
Ooh.
Like cinnamon at all. I don't like Fireball. And that's what it's supposed to be. A lot of the notes on this one is a wave of cinnamon.
I'm getting a lot of spice with that rye content.
Yeah.
And I get a little bit of the cinnamon, but I get mostly the high rye, charred oak, and like vanilla.
Ooh, yeah, I'm getting straight up cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't smell anything like Fireball, but I mean,
yeah.
when I get that burn in my nose.
Yeah, so do I. It's like, oh, there's the proof.
Yep. So, wave of cinnamon leads the charge, followed by sweet caramel, vanilla, and a hint of burnt oak. Cinnamon dominates overall, but the balance of sweet scents along with oak keeps it manageable. Yeah, I guess I get that. What are you getting on that palate, Chris?
I'm getting a rye. I don't get a lot of the cinnamon flavor like you would from like
Oh, God, I do.
Fireball or like Jack Daniel's Fire.
Oh, that is...
Ooh, I get on the back end, though. It's on the back end. Like, up front is your spice, vanilla, charred oak, and, like, the very back end, I get that cinnamon. It's not overpowering, though.
Man, I just hate cinnamon-flavored stuff, and this is...
I don't get a lot of cinnamon. Like...
Really?
I think you get more out of Fireball and the Jack Daniel's Fire.
Yeah.
That's more cinnamon flavor that was expecting since they said big cinnamon flavor, but I'm not getting that. I mean, it's on the back end.
Oh, God.
Up front, it's just spice and
All right.
heat.
I can already tell. I can't drink this neat. We'll see what happens on the rocks, but that is, wow. I'm getting all cinnamon.
Yeah.
And spice, obviously. But, yeah, I guess I am getting some dark fruit in there, too. But for me, I'm just getting...
Cinnamon?
Predominantly cinnamon.
See, I get the rye up front, that spice, vanilla flavor, and then the burn. And then I get the cinnamon on the back end is what I'm getting. I mean, it's not bad, but... When I was thinking cinnamon flavor, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be straight up Fireball, Jack Daniel's Fire, straight up just all cinnamon, and it's not.
Now, who knows what that 114 is going to be like?
Yeah.
Maybe even an even stronger.
Ooh, I don't know. Ooh.
Yeah, dang.
It's crazy, but...
I wish we had a backup whiskey this week.
It's all right. Maybe it'll cool down on the ice.
Should call my wife, be like, hey, you want to take these and whip us up an old-fashioned
real quick?
Yep.
That'd be perfect for it.
It was. It was really good in the old fashioned.
I mean, for a bottle and bond, $20, single barrel, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
This would be definitely, in my opinion, a good mixing whiskey.
Yeah.
But drinking it straight, I'm not about that.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan. I'll have to add this to my not a fan list. But I mean, if you make old fashions or Manhattan or stuff like this,
I bet it'd be real good for a mixed drink.
Yeah, but by itself,
see, on the rocks, I'm getting more of that spice. I just get straight up spice. That's all I'm getting.
Yeah. Well, I think now that it's sitting on the rocks, I think it's going to dumb down that cinnamon.
Yeah, because I just get straight heat and spice now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll suffer through this one.
Yeah.
Well, it's good because I can't get too drunk when we're going through this topic that we have to go through because it is a 466-page document, if you didn't realize that. But, I don't know. So, Chris, you grew up as a Star Trek fan, right?
I watched it because my dad did.
Say, because when I went over to your house as a kid for birthdays, parties, and stuff like that, I remember seeing a bunch of Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, my dad was a big Trekkie.
Like you guys had the toy spaceship thing.
Yeah.
All that. I never really liked it. I wasn't a fan of the actual TV show, but I did like the movies with Chris Pine.
Yeah, I love those movies. They're good.
The movies were good. I'm not a big fan of the TV show.
Yeah, I don't watch the shows as much as I watch the movies.
But apparently, Captain Kirk is coming out with a straight bourbon whiskey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yep. It's a Star Trek version. It is a serious bourbon selected from choice barrels from Kentucky, Indiana, and then the aging is going to range from 4 to 12 years old. Each small batch releases of this bourbon is going to have some different flavors. So,
I wonder what distilleries are getting them from.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to know.
The bottle looks cool.
Yeah, the bottle looks sick.
Yeah. So if you're a Star Trek fan and you like whiskey, maybe pick up a bottle. It does. I don't think it.
I'll probably buy a bottle just to have it.
Right. I think
if I see it.
A couple places I saw was like those are pretty high. When I Googled it earlier, I saw it like for upper 60s.
Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, we blow $50-$60 pretty easily on just plain whiskeys.
Yeah, those kind of whiskeys you gotta be careful because it's like, are they just making this because of the show and it's a cool collectible, or is it gonna be actual good whiskey?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, hey, that's actually good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think of you as a kid.
God, I don't know. I'm gonna have to buy it just to have it on the shelf.
Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this whiskey I'm drinking here.
Whew. I almost brought over something else. I probably should have.
That's all right. We had to try it.
Yeah.
We can't like them all.
I was like, man, I haven't tried this that I could remember.
Yeah. Can't like them all.
No, we can't. If we did, we'd be broke even more.
Man, do you know what else I don't like?
What?
Everybody, so as the head of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, I'm very excited to tell you that as of today, we are closing the gun show loophole. Basically, we are requiring that anybody who sells guns as a dealer has to do background checks. And what we know is this is going to save lives. So it's an important step forward. We got more to do. We need to pass an assault weapons ban. We need red flag laws and universal background checks. But good news to report today.
I definitely hate that more than this whiskey.
Yeah.
Not only do I hate the whole thing that she's talking about, but her as well. Like, I hate her. God. I hate the whole administration and what they're doing, and it's all political.
Yeah.
It's just because they promise all this gun control stuff and closing the gun show loophole, so they're...
It's not really a loophole, though.
Yeah. We're gonna
if you're still buying from a dealer, they're running a background check on you at these gun shows.
Yes. We'll get into that.
Unless you're out in the parking lot like, hey, I'll buy that gun from you there, but how much you want?
Right. So, unfortunately, she's head of that gun safety prevention group that was supposedly bipartisan, which is, I don't know, if whatever Republicans did vote for that Safe First Community Act need to get ousted, because that's just, this is how they're trying to get all these red flag laws and all these ATF final rules, which the ATF is making these final rules. But as we've known from previous final rules, ATF can't make law.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make this changing the law without going through Congress and being voted on. So realistically, this is an illegal way for them to redefine this and change their mind, because they're changing their minds on a bunch of things. So hopefully that, this will be challenged in court.
Yeah.
But there's going to be that kind of like with the bump stock, it's going to be, or the pistol braces, it's going to drag on, but it's going to be a weird period where this is technically in force, but it's,
even though that hasn't been passed by law,
right?
Which I don't get.
So we'll go through this here, but this is the announcement. Other than that one that was terrible with her ugly face, there was this announcement.
Today, the Justice Department is issuing one of the most significant gun regulations in decades. Pursuant to the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the regulation expands the definition of who must obtain a license and conduct a background check before selling firearms. It will also close the gun show loophole. Under this regulation, it will not matter if guns are sold on the internet, at a gun show, or at a brick-and-mortar store. If you sell guns predominantly to earn a profit, you must be licensed and you must conduct background checks.
Anybody that is licensed has to conduct a background check.
Correct.
And who owns a brick and mortar store.
What they're trying to do is, so at gun shows there are tables where there's people selling their private collection.
Yeah.
And they don't have a license. They're not doing background checks or paperwork or anything, because they're doing it as their private collection. I don't agree with that, just because, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is, but I personally wouldn't do that, just because.
If they're going to do this, then I think anybody that sells a car needs to be a licensed mechanic and a licensed dealer then.
Right. So you think it's fine being able to have a vendor up there, not a vendor, but like a table, and a guy selling all these guns and not doing paperwork in the background check?
I'd be real leery of it, because that certain people, a.k.a. usually the criminals, will be the first ones to go up there.
Hey, I am glad you just said that, because I have this.
I think that this is a whole lot of hooey, what the Biden administration is doing, because based on what they said today, closing the gun show loophole, it doesn't matter where a sale happens. That's not how federal law works.
No, it doesn't at all. And this whole notion about the gun show loophole being this egregious way for criminals to get a bunch of guns. The DOJ in 2019 actually did a survey where they found out that 0.8% of criminals got their guns from actual gun shows. But it's understood commonly throughout the gun community that criminals get their guns illegally on the black market. So really what this is Joe Biden and his administration trying to find a backdoor way to create a registration, because he can't get his universal background checks passed through Congress. And so that's essentially all this is. And so I've said it before and I've said it again, the universal background check cannot be executed unless we have a gun registration.
Yep.
And when you take firearms, you take away people's rights to defend themselves, which is actually what I think these liberals want to do. They want us reliant on the state, not on our families and our individual selves.
Just to reiterate, I think that this Biden administration just wanted a bunch of headlines to repeat their language of we're closing the gun show loophole, when there's never been any special exception for where the sale happens. If you're in the business of dealing firearms, they're trying to con more people into getting a license before selling used guns. And that bipartisan bill from 2022 that I mentioned, that also was the foundation for this now DOJ Extreme Risk Protection Order Center. Because again, that's another national way of trying to confiscate people's guns.
And pretty soon, they want us to be like Australia and the UK.
Did you see, where was that? Australia this last week? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Huh, crazy, huh?
Right. Turns out, even though guns are illegal in Australia, there was a mass
stabbing.
Mass stabbing quotes, because what defines a mass stabbing or a mass shooting?
Yeah.
How many people have to die before it hits that?
Yeah.
He was there, and I saw some videos of that where the guy was actually running through the mall, and there was some video footage, and then they show one lonely rent-a-cop going after him with a gun, and I don't know what happened after that, but yeah. So that again, criminals are going to, what we've always said, criminals are going to find a way to do harm, guns or not. You can ban all the guns you want, but they're going to find a way.
So we all know that there is a black market. Why doesn't the government go after the black market? Oh,
Probably
I
because
know.
they fund it.
Yeah, probably. Because let's look at all the weapons we left behind
Right.
overseas and that are probably being used.
I like that reporter's reaction. This is a bunch of hooey.
Yeah.
But Colin Noor had a good point there. And here's the statistic he was talking about. And Chris earlier mentioned that a lot of criminals go to the gun show to get firearms. That's a low percentage.
Yeah, it is.
That's actually the lowest on here as far as where they got them. Now, how many people told the truth? I don't know.
I mean, the one that really is blaring on that
What's that?
from a friend / family member. And
Yes.
then off the street from a drug dealer.
And I don't know. A lot of people, 9%, and then 4.4% just refused to say how. But notice, I mean, a pawn shop is up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, from a friend or a family member, that would probably be more of like possibly a straw sale.
Yeah.
That could go into play. But the biggest point here is criminals really don't go to gun shows to get the firearm because, I mean, one, they know
They're going
most
to
vendors.
have to do a background check.
Yeah. And honestly, they're trying to get the gun as cheap as possible, whereas the gun shows, you're probably paying retail or close to retail, depending on what you're doing.
Unless they're out in the parking lot doing
Yeah.
sales like that when they shouldn't be.
So the big thing is closing this gun show loophole, blah, blah, blah. There really is no loophole because it's not illegal to privately sell your firearms.
Yeah.
But with this new final rule, they're trying to change it to where they didn't have a set number, but they're saying if you primarily sell guns to make a profit, then you're considered a dealer, and then you have to go get an FFL and do all this stuff. But it's funny because it's primarily. Well, if you sell one or, a couple, not a big deal. Most of us are trying to make most of our money back on guns.
Yeah.
Like, most of the modern guns, are you really going to make a profit off of them? Like if you sell a Glock 19,
No, probably not.
probably going to take a loss. Now, if you sell,
Like $1,000.
yeah, like an M1 Grand or like these Mosins that have shot up in value like crazy, kind of not worth what they're being asked for now. But yeah, you're making a profit. But with me, maybe I just want to sell this one behind me because I don't need it anymore.
Or you want something else.
Yeah, or I want to put that. And then of course I'm going to make a profit because I paid $100 for it, and now I could sell it for probably $500.
Yeah.
So does that?
It's not my problem that inflation took over thanks to the government.
Right.
So
does that now make me need an FFL, which I am, but say I didn't?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is everybody's thinking that.
So let's get everyone to be an FFL. That should be our goal now.
Right.
Make everyone an FFL. We'll make T-shirts.
But you've also noticed that a lot more FFLs are losing their licenses now.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should apply to be an FFL.
FFL or ATF.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll overrun them.
Save the Second Amendment.
Could you imagine if like every gun person,
Ran the ATF.
no, like started to get an FFL?
It'd be crazy.
It'd be a lot.
It'd be overwhelming.
and be
ATF
like, all right.
would be like,
And all you have to do is show that you're
because
doing a profit.
I wonder how hard it would be for the ATF to like actually like if you're an FFL, like this is gonna make their job harder. I would think. Mm-hmm. Like if everyone went and got an FFL, now I got to go to this FFL. Okay, well, he sold to this FFL. He went to this FFL. Like it's gonna take longer to find where that gun went.
I want to know how in the world they're going to enforce this
Yeah.
anyway. Like, how are they going to know if I decide to sell you a gun?
I mean, shoot, they can't even keep up with drugs.
Right.
I mean, or let alone their own guns.
Right.
So
There's so it is a 466-page document, which I didn't realize it was going to be that long. I thought it was just going to be like maybe 11 pages.
bunch of filler
redefining
crap
stuff.
probably in there that
But
they're trying to
it's
pass.
yeah. I will post the link in the show notes below of the actual document if you want to look through it. I tried to go through a lot of it. What pisses me off is because it's so long, there's no table of contents, so it's hard to just find anything. But this is pretty much what it looks like, and it's redefining the engage in business as a dealer in firearms, and it gives this whole long summary of the background and why they're doing this and all this garbage. But then if you go through it towards, I guess, the middle, I would say 75% of this document is the ATF responding to comments that it got when it introduced this.
What you should do is copy and paste that into ChatGPT and go, what are the key takeaways from this?
Your government sucks.
Yeah.
But so you'll see a good chunk of this document is it has this where it says comments received. And then it'll say we got these certain comments asking about this situation or whatever. And then there'll be another section underneath that says the department's response. So what they're doing is they took all the comments that they received and actually responding to a lot of them. And that's probably why this document is so freaking long, is they were responding to all those and certain situations on why the commenters were wrong or why the ATF is right and all that stuff. So it's hard to get through, and it's really annoying because there's no easy way to search for certain thing.
I wonder if you could like sue the government for not being good. What is it? The word I'm thinking of. Stewards of our tax money when it comes to guns.
Right? Probably not.
Since they gave up millions and billions of weapons. Like, could you sue them for that?
Probably not.
But yet they can come after us for stuff?
Yes.
That's not
The government,
right.
they're doing it to protect us.
By giving every foreign country overseas all of our weapons and everything.
Right.
How's that good? I mean, we've had more little wars breaking out right now than we have in probably 6-7 years.
What they're I think in essence is doing is trying to go after those people that set up tables at the gun shows that are selling their private collection. Because, most of those people that are up there selling their private collection aren't taking a loss on those, probably. Yeah. And I've seen it to where, they'll buy guns from other people and, no paperwork's exchanged or anything, and then they just resell it. So I think that's what they're referring to as a gun show loophole is that, but then they're trying to tell the public is that's how criminals are getting their hands on guns, which they're not.
Yeah.
As statistics from the Department of Justice show.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I personally, after having an FFL and getting trace calls from the ATF, because if a gun is used in a crime or it's reported stolen or something, they do a trace. And I thought about this. I'm like, I sold not a lot. I sold some guns before I got my license because I thought it was cool buying and selling. It was fun. I did make a profit off some of the police trade-ins, and now thinking back, I'm like, man, that was kind of dumb because yes, it's legal to privately sell, but you don't know what that guy's going to do with the gun. And it was last in my name. So it's going to come to me. And I'm like, yeah, I always did a bill of sale, but still you never know what that guy on the other end is going to do. And if it could come back and bite you in the ass.
I mean, if you have a bill of sale, that kind of covers your ass though.
Yeah, but you got to keep that for like ever.
Yeah.
If you lose it or something, then what do you do?
I don't know. Put it on a hard drive.
Yeah. For me now, if I'm going to sell to anybody that's not a family or friend, I am probably going to do a
FFO.
Yes.
Form it out, write it out.
And I want to say all my personal collection stuff I've been just turning over to the business and having the business sell it. But I think, and a lot of people are freaking out that like, oh, I sell one gun, I made a little bit of a profit. Now I am illegal because I need to be a dealer. That's not quite the case. It doesn't, you can do that every now and then. You just can't predominantly sell the guns for a profit. So you can't sell a crate of Mosins because that would be the definitions that they're trying to redefine here. You selling them a bunch of guns, you're probably going to make a lot of profit on those. And are you really doing that for just... Yeah, you're probably doing it to make a profit and take advantage of the markup on those things right now. So that would probably fall under their new definition. But
yeah, I don't know. I think if they're going to do this, they got to do it to every industry.
But honestly, if you're considering of getting an FFL and your city allows home-based FFLs, which some don't, and I would just freaking do it. It is not that hard. You can put it under a business or you can put it under your name. All you have to do is show that you are getting your FFL to make a profit. And that could be as simple as selling a couple guns every now and then or doing transfers online. Like
I would just do transfers.
Yeah, huge.
Left and right.
Yeah.
Really, there's no exchange of...
Yeah, because all these brick and mortar stores charge a lot of money for a transfer.
Yeah.
And so home-based FFLs get to take advantage of that because we charge less. At least I do, and some other ones around here. And, it's decent business. And that's just one way. Yeah, I do that. I'm making $20 profit. Bam.
Yeah.
You meet that definition, and you probably get approved for your license. There's other things. It's honestly easier and quicker to get your FFL than, in the past, a silencer.
That's crazy.
I've heard the process is sped up recently, but...
Well, they were talking about it was going to go all electronic and it should take like days.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's changed any. I haven't tried buying a suppressor lately.
You don't even have one.
I know. I want one bad.
Yes. So, basically there was an old law where the principal objective was you were selling these guns and making a profit. The objective was your livelihood and a profit, you were considered a dealer. So if you were making the profit to support your livelihood, that's when you became a dealer.
Can't
under
do
the
that
old
no
law.
more.
Yes. So now they've changed that. They removed livelihood and changed it to basically predominantly to earn a profit. You need to be a dealer.
Predominantly to earn a profit.
Yes, predominantly. And that's where they don't list, if you sell 5 guns, you meet this definition. You sell 10 guns. They don't.
That's kind of...
They leave it open.
Loose words.
Yes. And somewhere in this document, I wish I would have marked where it was, but I saw somebody ask a question or a comment on that, and they kind of redefine that and say, yeah, it's not a gray area, but there's no set number. There's no set number is what they said, but they kept going back to it.
What are they considered like a predominant for a profit though? Like every month is a profit, every day a profit.
So if we scroll, surprisingly, they don't get to the definitions of this whole document until the very end.
Oh, Jesus.
There's like all this stuff. Like it's who wrote this is what
probably
I want to know.
AI. I bet you.
I don't know because
they probably put in here, make an AI, make this platform match this.
So on page 453 is where we finally get to the terms. God. Yes. So a dealer is any person engaged in the business of selling firearms at wholesale or retail, obviously. A person engaged in the business of repairing firearms or of making or fitting special barrel stocks, or basically you're a gunsmith at that point, or a pawnbroker. The term shall apply to any person who engages in such business or occupation on a part-time basis, which I am, so I have the definition. The term shall include such activities wherever, and this is kind of where they changed it, wherever or through whatever medium they are conducted, such as at a gun show or event, a flea market, auction house, gun range or club, at one's home, by mail order, over the internet, through the use of electronic means, text messages, it just keeps going on. Basically, they list any way you can buy a gun. They list it there. And then dealer in firearms other than a gunsmith or a pawnbroker. The term engaged in the business as a dealer in firearms other than a gunsmith or pawnbroker shall have the same meaning as everything above.
So if you take it like, okay, I'm giving you money for, like, say you are a pawnbroker, why couldn't you do that in your house?
I don't know. Can you be a pawn?
I bet you probably could. Don't need to be a brick and mortar.
I wouldn't want to do that in case somebody's like, I want my shit back, and you say no, and then they break in.
Well, if they didn't, if they didn't pay you,
right,
what you gave them back with our interest,
and then
that's your lien right there. So they're going to try to steal your lien, and then you can go back after them even more. Then,
yeah. But then they define the term purchase and derivative terms thereof. Means the act of attaining a firearm in an agreed exchange of something of value. So it doesn't have to be money. It can be labor. It can be drugs. It could be
Anything.
literally
Anything
anything.
of value.
Joe Biden stickers. I don't know. The term sale and terms thereof means the act of disposing of a firearm in an agreed exchange for something of value. And the term resale means selling a firearm, including a stolen firearm, after it was previously sold by the original manufacturer or any other person. And the term something of value includes money, credit, personal property, example, another firearm or ammunition, a service, a controlled substance, or any other medium of exchange or values or valuable consideration, legal or illegal.
That's kind of screwy.
All right.
So you're telling me I could do stuff illegally? They're promoting illegalness?
So yeah,
They're wanting you to do illegal stuff now?
they're basically saying, oh,
He gave me a shot
I didn't
of
make a
heroin.
profit, but I got marijuana from it. Well, that's still something of
Value.
substance now. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah, and then they find some other things, and then personal collection.
Oh, Jesus.
General definition: personal firearms that a person accumulates for study. I don't know if I've ever studied these guns, but accumulates for study, comparison, exhibition. Example, collecting curios or relics, collecting unique firearms to exhibit at a gun club, or for hobby. Let's see here. The term shall not include any firearm purchase for the purpose of resale with the predominant intent to earn a profit. God, I don't know.
Sounds like it's just a
Because a lot of us that are collectors of the old guns buy those because we know they're going to go up in value.
it's just like buying an old car. Like it's going to go eventually up in value.
Yeah.
You're going to resell it at the right time.
Yeah, at a profit.
Or if you're going to just save it for a rainy day.
But again, predominantly to earn a profit. Now, if you sell one here and there every now and then,
But that's for value.
yeah,
So like it's kind of like backdooring you pretty much.
yeah, it's like we're not giving you a number,
Anything
but
of value.
You bought these going into the notion that you were going to eventually sell them. It's probably what they're going to do, and
Be like, it's just like the stock market. I buy stocks hoping for that rainy day to happen and they take off.
yeah. So that's interesting. Oh, here we go. Predominantly earn a profit. The term predominantly earn a profit shall have the same meaning as in 478.13. Damn it.
That's probably underneath whatever their thing is.
That's falls under the terms of dealer engaged in business. So
Whatever.
right. And then so basically, and through straw sales, they're trying to get rid of those.
You saw it. Colorado, it did pass. You saw that, right?
Did it?
Yeah. It's supposed to go to the Senate next.
Oh. Like we said on that episode, not surprised.
Yep.
And the governor is going to sign that. So
Yeah. So next is the Senate. Hopefully they get denied and shut down.
yeah, so I don't know. With this whole thing, it's
That's crazy.
not legal for them to change this, like we've said in any other final rule. But yeah, it's funny how they did change it from to where you were doing this for your livelihood to now just predominantly earning a profit, which, I mean, a lot of people.
It's crazy that they're
do
rolling this stuff out later after they already did all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the government actually did all this. Double standards.
Yeah, but if you want to see if you fall under a certain category, read through here and find
I'm
the
good.
comments section because, I
I think I just copy and paste it into AI Chat GPT. Tell me what I need to know. It'd probably take that 400 and turn it into like 10 pages.
yeah. But, I mean, if you're worried that if you sell a gun at all, make a little bit of money, as long as you're just doing that every now and then, I think you're fine.
But who knows?
But again, how are they going to know?
That's true. If you're not doing any paperwork, unless it's used in a crime,
Like if,
that's the only thing.
like, how are they going to track this?
I don't know.
Like,
unless it does, like that gun or firearm ends up in a crime, that might be the only way.
but then it's only going to go back to the last person that filled out the form.
Yeah.
And then if that person's like, yeah, I sold it to Joe Schmo, I didn't make a profit. I just sold it to him, and then Joe Schmo turned a profit. I don't know. I think it's really going to affect. The biggest thing I see it affecting is like gun shows. So maybe, at a gun show, they don't look to see if you have an FFL. Most of the time, they're just like, oh, do you sell guns or do you sell non-guns?
They'll probably be checking that.
So now at gun shows, it may be to where in order to have a table or a booth at a gun show, you have to show that you have a license.
Well, I know like a lot of those online like auctions and stuff, a lot of them in the description says only people that can bid are FFLs.
Right.
So they can transfer them.
That's the only way
I've ever seen it online.
Yeah. And then, I mean, does this mean they may send some undercover ATF agents to more gun shows?
Who
and
knows?
go through the vendors and be like, hey, I see you're selling guns. Show us your license.
They might.
And then those guys that are selling their personal collection they're going to be up shit's creek because how are you going to show you're not trying to make a profit when you have a booth full of guns and you're just selling your private collection?
Trading of equal value.
Yeah. Obviously, at that point,
they're going to be in trouble.
You definitely meet this definition.
Yep.
So I was talking to somebody doing a transfer, and I'm like, I think that's the only way it's really going to affect us is at the gun shows.
Having proof of your FFL.
Yes.
If you're selling guns.
Maybe not. Maybe that won't change.
Yeah, maybe
I don't
not.
know. But as far as it, everything is tracked online now, and with the whole credit card companies wanting to report gun sales and all of that stuff. But again, how are they going to know? Like, if you decide to sell, I don't know, say you have 10 guns that you want to sell and make some money off of, and you do everything private sale, again, how are they going to know?
The only way they're going to
You're
know.
not advertising this, so say you just know somebody that wants to buy these guns from you, comes over to your house.
I don't know. It'd be like word of mouth at that point.
Yeah. So.
Unless you're mouthing off to an ATF person not knowing about it.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful.
Be careful who you talk to, kids. Strangers are bad.
Yes. But yeah, that's what I want to know. Maybe it says it in here how they're going to reinforce it, but I
don't know.
Haven't found anything. Obviously, there's here's what happens if you
don't comply and all that.
Yeah, but again, I think like that Fox News reporter said, this is just more political.
We're just becoming less and less American
because Biden's commitment was student loan debt. And then
that failed.
Yeah. And then banning assault weapons, which ended up being like most weapons. And so all his speeches are closing the gun show and the loophole. And so now that the election is getting closer and closer,
it's going to be the main topic.
They came up with this bullshit to be like, oh, look, we got rid of the gun show loophole.
That was really never a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, most criminals, as stated in this right here, don't buy their guns at gun shows.
Yep.
And that was in, what do you say, 2019?
Yeah.
Something like that. So, I'm not, if I wanted to commit a crime, I don't think I'd go to a gun show because I'd be too afraid that, one, there'd be cops or ATF agents somewhere up there.
Well, the only thing I would be buying at gun show would be ammo and parts.
I want to go buy ammo at a gun show because it's marked up.
Yeah, that's true. Parts, though.
Yeah, but, I mean...
You can pretty much build a gun at a gun show.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people there for a while before the whole P80 scandal, you could buy P80s at gun shows and then go buy a slide and everything else.
Or you can just go find somebody in the black market and buy probably a full auto freaking gun.
Probably.
Or just, because I mean, honestly.
Or just go overseas and buy it since the government just threw away billions of dollars in ammo and everything.
Oh, God, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, this is a political stunt.
Yeah.
Because he wants to show for the...
Let's show that gun control doesn't work. It's been proven. Everything they've ever said has been a lie. That's been proven.
Yeah.
So don't trust the government.
I saw a thing. I didn't actually read it or watch the video, but there was something where Biden was taken aback by how when Trump said he wasn't going to come take our guns, when he said nobody's coming to take your guns.
Yeah.
Apparently that threw Biden for a doozy.
What do you mean?
Right.
I want everyone armed if something happens.
You know what wouldn't surprise me? If at some point they come out with the final rule of an assault weapons ban right before November too.
Oh, that'd be... You don't want to get reelected. Tell you what.
No, I mean, because that was his campaign promise, and obviously what Harris said in that little thing and has been their main goal is to pass that assault weapons ban. So why not? They're using the ATF to come up with all this other bullshit. Why not go around Congress, just like all this stuff, and have the ATF that is in Biden's pocket and create a final rule somehow, some way, to where they're going to say you can't own these weapons of war?
Because that'd be really hard.
I don't think so.
I would think that'd be an uproar.
It would, but...
And that might be a...
How many final rules have they come out with that we've talked about? So many. And
that final rule that they're going after for every gun, that'd make all of the U.S. pretty much felons overnight with how many guns everyone's got.
Or maybe not. Maybe not as strict as the assault weapons ban that they want to do. But what if they redefine like an AR-15 and AK-47 to where if it's under this and looks like this,
changes the definition of an assault rifle based off the definition they've given.
But maybe they're going to be like, oh, this is for military use only. These guns.
All right, so if it's for military use only, I'll hand it over to the military, and I want them to turn around and take their actual M16s, M4s, and everything, and I want to watch them get destroyed. And we'll see what happens when we get invaded.
Right. But no, I would not be surprised, though, if they tried something like this, because they've changed the definition of everything else.
I mean, they can't even... I mean, I can't... I'm not going to go there.
It's not going to... None of it can stand up in court because it didn't go through Congress. You can't just change your freaking mind. I mean, kind of like that YouTuber that went to jail.
Yeah, I mean, I got other opinions too that I could say, but I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Changing definitions.
Oh, you must have liked that whiskey.
No, I just wanted it over with.
Gotcha. Yeah, you'll be taking that one home.
Yeah, probably. Sure. I'll be sitting upstairs. I might be going in the infinity bottle.
My wife might like that, though.
Yeah.
She likes cinnamon. She loves Fireball. Obviously, you guys probably are aware of this, but wanted to touch base on it and kind of what they're doing. There's a lot of videos out there. I wish there were more people like Hollow in the War that were able to get their voices out on national news like that. Unfortunately, Fox News is the only one that does that. Any other news outlet probably won't let him or anybody that's pro-gun give their opinion because they don't agree with you. So why would they interview you?
I wish that we just get rid of this government we have and go back to understanding what the Constitution means and what it's there for. It's Constitution there to protect us against the government, and you all are wanting to get rid of it so the government can take control of us, and it'll cause other problems down the road.
Speaking of scary guns that Biden doesn't like, have you seen, and I just saw Hickok come out with a video of this. I haven't really been paying attention to some of the new guns coming out, and I'd never heard of this company. It's a Robertson Armament.
That looks like a Scar H.
So they claim it's better than the AR-15. And what this is it's kind of a mash between an AR-15, an AK-47, and then the Scar.
Yeah.
All kind of Frankenstein together into this.
It looks pretty badass, to be honest.
It does look badass. And apparently it's a whole completely different design than what we're used to, and especially an AR-15. It's got the gas operating system, so obviously this looks more kind of like your AK stuff.
Yeah.
And everything. The cool thing, other than looking cool, is this little nut right here, or bolt, whatever we want to call it. When you unscrew that, you're able to remove the entire barrel and put in another barrel with a different caliber.
That's pretty sweet.
So they have obviously different versions of this rifle. They have, depending on if you want the pistol, I guess what was or is still kind of in the gray area if it's still classified as a pistol, but the shorter than 16-inch barrel ones, they have those, and then you can get obviously the standard one. in here.
How much is it to build? Let's build one.
They're not cheap. The standard 16-inch one comes at like $2,225, but cheaper than a SCAR.
Yeah.
More than an AR-15 though. But what's cool about, so here's obviously the smaller ones.
That looks bad.
Like they look pretty.
I would love to have one of those.
Yes, they come in different colors. You could. The thing about these are like with an AR-15, you can swap out different parts.
Yeah.
You really can't with this because it's specific to this gun. So you can't just take any AR-15 trigger and drop it in this. You can't. But it is kind of a cool design. And because you can change out the barrels, so you can get a conversion kit for 300 blackout, 223, 5.56. You can get all the other different calibers and basically change out either the barrel and then possibly the bolt and possibly the gas tube, but they come with conversion kits. So right here, conversion kits, and you buy one gun, and then you can later on, if you want a different caliber.
So it's kind of a modular design.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
So you just buy the conversion kits. And one thing I noticed on like Hickok's video is going from the 300 blackout to the 5.56, you had to change up the gas tube, change that out, and also the barrel, just because it's a different setup. But most of the other stuff, you really just...
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I want to build one now.
Now, the problem with this is the conversion kits aren't cheap either.
I bet.
They're like, cost of another pistol.
Gun.
But it's still cool, though. Like, then you don't have to buy like two of these at $2,500 or whatever. You can... Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. He released that video, I think, like recently. And apparently these have been out for a little while. I've never heard of them.
Neither have I. That's the first time I've seen it. That's pretty sweet.
Yes. So if you want to get a mash between an AR-15 and AK-47 and a SCAR,
get that.
Check these out. They look pretty cool. And they operate a little bit different than what we're used to, but
well.
It obviously is super easy to swap out. You just one bolt, hold it in the barrel, and then the gas tube and bolt come right out. Easy to swap those parts.
I want to see one in real life now.
Yeah, they also have one in what would be the 308 platform. That one you can do 308, 6.5 Creedmoor,
243 Win.
Yeah. Forgot what the other ones were, but
7.62 by whatever.
So yeah, pretty darn cool. They actually submitted that. You know how is it the SCAR that's the new military? What was it? But they submitted this to the military to be their new gun that they were looking at. And for whatever reason, it wasn't picked because of like something about a blank adapter or something that the Army wanted or the military wanted. So unfortunately, it was submitted to the military, but they didn't take, this wasn't their pick.
Dang.
Which is surprising because then you can easily swap out your calibers.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah. So I definitely... I'll have to look and see if my suppliers have any of these.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
That looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I thought that's
nice.
Here we go. There's one kit, about $568 for it looks like a... Because with the
gun, bolt, and everything.
Sometimes you'll also need a different magazine. So if you go to a 7.62 by 3.9, you need obviously the AK mag style mag there. Comes with a different barrel and part of the gas tube. But
sweet.
It is. You can buy a brand new Glock for $568, or
you
can buy that. Shoot.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like some of those suppressors where they come as these kits to where you swap out parts and can use them on different.
Or you just buy the bigger baffle and then it works all the way down.
Yeah, that is all I had.
Sweet.
This week. Yeah, a lot of bad news with the final rule and
Go figure.
Joe Biden's ATF, but
Yep.
kind of what we're used to. If you guys have any questions or want to add to the conversation, if you're watching on YouTube, that comment section below. If you're listening to audio only, feel free to check us out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe on YouTube and watch the video version if you want to, or just if you want to just stick a phone in your pocket and listen to it.
Yeah.
Either way. And if you're looking for transfers or to buy guns, check out BoomstickTacticalLLC.com.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a non-cinnamon whiskey next week.
Yeah.
So, but Chris, what do you got to say?
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on any of those platforms, hit that follow button. With that, everybody, have a good one.